It's the premiere episode of Always On, and we are unboxing the hottest laptop on Earth right now, driving futuristic race cars, making a DIY stylus, and showing off a little of what's coming in future shows. Always On is on. Welcome to Always On. I'm Molly Wood. This is the show where we check out the tech that's part of everybody's life and then find out whether it can survive your everyday life. We will test product durability with insane gadget torture tests. We have our own Lady MacGyver, Sharon Vaknin, who will be dreaming up DIY and how-to tricks galore. And every week, we'll take you into the future with a look at the tech that's going to change your life, like solar-powered race cars. But that's coming up later. First, we unbox one of the hottest laptops in the world right now. Last week, Apple held its annual Worldwide Developers Conference, and Tim Cook's first WWDC was somewhat surprisingly all about the hardware. We got new MacBook Airs, new MacBooks. Those were kind of minor upgrades. The big news was a brand new MacBook Pro with a Retina display. It shipped the day it was announced. And we have one right here. Let's take a look inside. Oh, yes. This is a big laptop. Headline, the display. It's a 15.4-inch Retina display, which translates to a 2880 by 1800 resolution. After you look at it, other displays make you feel like you have Vaseline on your eyeballs. It's 4.46 pounds, almost exactly a pound lighter than the previous model. It's 0.7 inches thick. You can configure it to up to a 2.7 gigahertz quad-core Core i7 with up to 16 gigs of RAM. On a related note, the redesigned Power Brick, it's large. This laptop ships with OS X Lion, but you'll get a free upgrade to Mountain Lion. You'll finally get some good new ports, namely USB 3.0 and Hallelujah HDMI, plus 2 Thunderbolt ports and an SD card slot. You do lose dedicated FireWire and Ethernet, which I actually think is kind of a problem in the corporate environment where the MacBook Pro usually finds its home. Also, this laptop starts at $2199. Starts. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's really nice. It's really pretty. I'm just not sure it's as useful as a true desktop replacement with things like Ethernet and a nice big hard drive. Oh, who am I kidding? Whatever, it's awesome. It's an awesome laptop, and CNET already gave it an editor's choice, so go ahead. Get one. You know you want to. Go ahead and get that Ethernet dongle too. You're going to want that. Now, speaking of gadgets, next week's show is very exciting because we are introducing the Always On torture test. We know that life is hard on devices, mainly the portable ones, so we devised a series of real-world-like tests to see if they can survive. We have heat, cold, dropping, water, and a wildcard test that you guys will help us choose. The first device to go into our torture lair is the new iPad. You'll find out next week whether it survived, but in the meantime, here's a sneak peek. So we are at stage 1 of the iPad 3, the new iPad torture testing, which is the cold test. In you go, little iPad. The light went off. I hope not forever. Next up is Lady MacGyver time, otherwise known as How To. Every week, CNET's Sharon Vaknin will be here with some cool DIY hack or how-to tip that'll help you make your tech more useful, more awesome, more organic, I don't know. This week, styluses, styli are back. I don't know if it's because of the cult popularity of the Samsung Note or because of cool iOS apps like Paper or Draw Something, but either way, you might be finding you need one of these. And believe it or not, you can make this one in about 2 minutes. Let Sharon show you how.
This week, I'm at Tech Shop, a 17,000 square foot space dedicated to do-it-yourself workshops and other classes and rentals that you can use to get your projects done. And today on Always On, I'm showing you how to make a stylus in less than 2 minutes that uses materials you probably already have at home. So here's how it works. Your touchscreen on your tablet or phone is a capacitive screen, meaning it only responds to conductive materials. So I can't just take the back of this pen and expect to use it with my iPad. So here's what you'll need. An aluminum material like aluminum foil, duct tape, or even foil tape, a Q-tip or other cotton material, a pen, some scissors, and water. Now, here's what you do. You take apart your pen. I've already taken out the ink from this pen, and cut your Q-tip in half. Insert that Q-tip into the mouth of the pen, and wrap it with your aluminum material. At Tech Shop, I found this aluminum tape, which you might be able to find at a store like Home Depot or other hardware store. So just wrap that aluminum tape around the pen and make sure it's touching the Q-tip. That's crucial. All right, and finally, to activate your stylus, you have to add a drop of water to the Q-tip. Make sure it's not soaking wet though, because you don't want to get your screen all wet. So if you need to, just dab it off. And finally, you're ready to use your stylus. So now with my stylus, I can unlock my iPad, fire up an app like Paper for handwritten notes, or even draw with one of my favorite apps, Draw Something. Now, here's how it works. The static electricity from my finger travels through the aluminum and onto the cotton ball and then onto the screen. If your stylus ever stops working, there are only two reasons. One, your finger isn't touching the foil or the cotton ball has dried out, so just add a drop of water. If you have any questions about how to make this stylus, hit me up on Twitter and send your suggestions for DIYs and how-tos to alwayson@cnet.com. All right, Molly, this stylus is for you. Give it a try.
Okay, look out everyone that I'm currently involved in a Draw Something game with, because my Vader just got awesome. Thank you, Sharon. All right, it's time for us to take a little break. When we come back, solar cars of the future. For now, they're tiny little race cars with no air conditioning, and I got to drive one. That's coming up next. So, you all know the deal with cars. We can't give them up, but they're climate-destroying, gas-guzzling boxes of Earth death. So, what's the alternative? Is it natural gas, electric, or maybe something better? I spent the day with the University of California's solar car racing team, and I learned that the solar cars of the future are really tiny. This is Impulse, a creation of the Cal Sol racing team. It is a 100% solar-powered race car. It has a top speed of about 78 miles an hour, although the team tells me that they won't go that fast again. It's usually driven right around 30 miles per hour, and even that is a little faster than I was willing to go. Okay, oh, my favorite part, helmet time. I'm part of the team. All right. Okay. Whoa. Okay, no problem. This is awesome. This is the part where... Okay.
That's on.
Okay, the sun is shining. I'm shoved in here like a sausage and strapped in, and then they're gonna close the lid, and I'm off. Okay, here we go. All right, oh yeah, oh, there, now we go, now we're talking. There we go. Oh, we're shifting gears. Here I go. Yeah. Oh my God, this is awesome. I feel like I'm going so fast right now.
In the future, cars will obviously need to be more energy efficient.
I'm probably going like 15 miles an hour.
We're already seeing more efficient cars today, like electric vehicles, and maybe solar could make those electric vehicles even more efficient.
It's totally thrilling.
Let's get her out.
All right, I'm ready to be freed.
How was it?
Good. It's pretty great, actually.
Okay,
It's kind of like go-kart, half Mini Cooper S.
Great.
No problem.
All right.
Excellent. Whew. I've forgotten what it feels like to have full range of motion. No, that is a blast. It's really fun.
Yeah.
It handles like a dream.
It does. We were racing it on a track, and it can take corners better than real cars.
It's really surprisingly responsive, yeah. So where's all this research headed? Into actual street cars?
This technology you could apply directly to something like a Tesla Roadster. You could panel the top of the vehicle with solar panels, and then that would give you an extra boost in range. So you would be able to go another 300-400 miles on a charge.
Later this summer, the Cal team will take this car on a 3-day track race against other schools. The goal of the race, to see who lasts the longest. Then they'll follow it up with an 1,800-mile road trip. These races are an experiment in green tech. They're testing the limits of what a solar car can do.
So tell me what's going on with this car. What are the specs here?
So it starts with the solar array, which is off right now, so we can look at the car. And then the solar array comes into that box right there.
Okay.
And so this box is the power trackers. And so that takes the energy from the sun and converts it into electrical energy that we can use at the right voltage and power.
And that's just standard solar energy collection that everyone's pretty familiar with?
Yeah, that's fairly familiar. From that, it goes into our battery box. So if we look in here, all of these white strips are our batteries. They give us a total power of 44 amp hours. And so that'll run us about 3 hours into the night with no electrical power from the sun.
And what kind of batteries are there?
These are lithium-ion
yeah.
cells.
Okay.
And so that goes directly into this box right down here. And this is the motor controller.
Oh, okay.
So our motor is actually a 3-phase, 1.6 horsepower motor. It's an electric motor that is actually in the wheel right back there.
1.6 horsepower.
Yep.
That doesn't sound very race car.
It doesn't sound
No
very
offense.
race car, but it's fine for us. We're built for efficiency.
Right.
And so the lower horsepower means that we can go with a lot less power.
It's not so bad. It's hotter than blazes in here.
A Tesla Roadster without the range anxiety?
Nice, actually, once I get to 10 or 12 miles an hour.
Count me in.
Driving around on a lawnmower. It's like a riding lawnmower, except powered by the sun. A riding lawnmower powered by the sun. This thing looks freaking cool. Get a nice big lawn to mow. All right. And this is not a pipe dream. Car makers are already looking into ways to integrate solar. In fact, Fisker Automotive's Karma car has a solar-powered roof that helps recharge its battery. And the company says the solar generated from the roof can help drive an additional 200 emissions-free miles per year. Plus, I mean, have you seen a Fisker? Solar cars are hot. All right, everyone, it's time for my favorite part of the show, your calls and letters, and a little segment that I'm calling the mailbag. Now, this being the first episode, I don't have tons of calls and letters, but I did put out a request on Twitter and Google Plus for suggestions and ideas about the show, and that led to some pretty awesome email. I got this one from Lee in Melbourne, Australia, who writes, "Hi, Molly. Very excited about the new show. I noticed that Apple introduced a whole bunch of China-specific features in iOS 6. It'd be interesting to delve into the strategy here, as well as any other China-only features from other smartphone manufacturers. On a related note, did you know that Sina Weibo, China's Twitter equivalent, provides each user with 80 points, which are lost if you spread rumors, misinformation, or just generally displease China in general until you're eventually banned from the site? It would be interesting to hear about products like this or your top 5 tips on how to get yourself banned from Sina Weibo in the quickest way possible. At the very least, this could be our best weapon yet against people who retweet the Kardashians." Okay, fair enough on the Kardashians. I think we're probably going to steer away from the China focus just in the first couple episodes. All right, Sheldon Dingle on Google Plus suggested that I take a road trip across America using all kinds of tech to make the trip more interesting. Funny you should mention, I think Daniel Turdeman from cnetnews.com is doing that exact same thing right now. So just go to news.com and follow him. And also, over on Google Plus, this mailbag thread erupted into maybe the funniest series of comments I've ever seen. It was a bunch of story suggestions involving a bank heist and then what you would do if the bad guys started shooting at you and which phone might save you. It came down to an argument between Gorilla Glass, a Nokia N900, or a Droid Razr Max. Now, I definitely do like this as a segment idea, except for the part where I die. Please email me your comments, your criticisms, your suggestions. Our email address is alwayson@cnet.com. You can find us on Twitter, twitter.com/cnetalwayson, and you can find me on Facebook and Google Plus as Molly Wood. That's it for this week, everyone. Coming up next week on Always On, we freeze, bake, soak, and drop an iPad. Yeah, and that's not even the end of it. We explore the future of gaming from E3, and we unbox the Samsung Galaxy S3. Stay tuned, and thank you for watching Always On.